If the solo has a pulse, the solo fights on. Trust me, I'm not dead. I'm just sleeping. And you? Oh, you're just dreaming. So open your eyes. Open your eyes. Your eyes. Your eyes. Your eyes. This wipe started no different than any other wipe. As soon as I spawned in, I started running towards the biome where I wanted to build. But along the way, I made sure to stop and loot, because you never know, you might find some things that could jumpstart your wipe. Rust is a game of survival, but don't let it get to your head. Sometimes a solo needs help, and when that help comes in the form of a horse, make sure you treat him with respect. I wasn't content on a spot to build, so I decided to lay down a sleeping bag and to stash away my most valuable items while I continued my search. Alright, let's hope I remember how to build this base. It's been a minute, but I've done it enough times to remember. I decided to do a bit more roaming before I settled down, but when I spawned near the fishing village, this happened. So instead, I decided to say hello to my new neighbor, who had been farming wood for quite some time. Hello? Hey man.
Hello.
Hey, I'm a solo. I'm just chilling over here. Are you a solo? Okay. Alright man. And just like that, with a few words, peace was made, and I instantly felt safer. So I laid down some foundations and started building my base. This journey is a crazy one, so don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave a like. I'll see you guys in the comment section. I was making decent progress on my base, so I ran out to collect some scrap and more wood. The resources on this side of the map were low, so I did the best I could with what I had. Now that the base was relatively safe, I spawned on my outside bag and collected the loot that I stashed away. It was safer in here than it was out there. As I headed out to do some looting, I noticed that the sun was rising to a foggy day. The eeriness of the fog and the lack of vision reminded me of some of the stories that I was narrating on my other channel, Orange Radio. I think those stories are starting to take their toll, but as I sat there, admiring the sunrise, I couldn't help but feel completely grateful for stepping back into the rest world. Since farming the road seemed to be working, I decided to continue doing it, and while I was out there, I grabbed some wood. This corner of the map seemed undisturbed, and I was feeling good. But in Rust, that feeling never lasts too long. Oh, it's me, dude. It's me. As I heard him leaving with my horse, I grabbed a bow and some arrows, and I made my best attempt at following him. But I looked and I looked. He was nowhere to be found. I wasted no more time. I grabbed another horse and I made my way back to base. Solos don't dwell. There's plenty of loot out there. You just have to have it in you to get it. But what I didn't realize is that I had led him to my base. I noticed a geared player outside, and I knew trouble was coming. But I just didn't have enough time. It was pure chaos. And then, silence. I took a moment to take in the quiet and breathe. It's never easy losing your base and being raided for the little that you have. But as a solo, it's a part of the process. I consider it an extremely lucky wipe. If I get away without being raided at least once. So I do what I do best. I shake it off. I keep my head up. And I keep going. I waited out the night at the fishing village. I'd rather sit in front of the fire instead of the darkness. And while I stood there contemplating my loss, a small gesture of kindness changed my attitude completely.
Hey, bro.
Hello. How's it going, man? It reminded me that the world of Rust has toxicity and has kindness, a lot like the real world. And this is exactly what I needed to keep going. I decided to change things up and try my luck in the winter biome. The snow isn't a personal favorite of mine, but I was determined to make something work. As soon as my feet touched the snow, I knew it was time to get to work. Now, it was time to build. I took a break from farming and building and went to take a closer look at the island. To my surprise, there was a new duo that was building nearby. Initially, shots were fired, but then the weapons were put down and we talked. I'm chill.
Hello?
Hello.
Do you live down there?
Yeah, that's me.
Were you up on that iceberg earlier?
No. I was actually AFK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We're looking for those guys, so I don't know. Alright, well, hopefully you find some clothes.
Alright. What? While roaming, I came across this airdrop. Maybe it was overlooked. On a high pop server like this, sometimes if things seem too good to be true, they probably are. I wasn't fully content with living in the snow, at least not this time. So I went out roaming, looking for a potential place to build my new home. When the sun sets over the water in the desert biome, the view is unmatched. This wipe was a wake-up call, a reminder of what makes me truly happy. This is a new chapter in my orange dream. As I waited for the sun to rise, I huddled over a campfire and watched the moon hanging in the sky. I can relate to the moon. The moon hovers solo in the sky, surrounded by darkness, but yet the moon never fails to show. In the world of Rust, the journeys are endless, and I'm here for the ride. So thank you to all the supporters. Thank you for hanging tight and standing by my side. Together, we can make the impossible happen. Hey, man.
Hey, man.
Have a good day, dude. got ambushed. What can I say, man?
Don't take it personally, eh?
Nah, you're good. GG, boys. I found a boat in a nearby river, and I took that boat to farm the ocean. But on my way, I found this guy. For some reason, the ocean was being watched closely. So I took what I collected and I headed back to the desert. And when the sun came up, I decided to take all of my loot along with the boat and travel down to the snow. Since I already have a base there, at least I can keep my loot safe. I made a pit stop here because I had stashed away some loot and I wanted to retrieve it and take it to my snow base. After making my way around the island, I decided it wasn't worth the risk, so I swam back out to my boat. As I approached the base, I noticed there was something wrong with it, and the closer I got, the clearer it became. My base had been wiped out. As I rode away from my second-rated base, and the group who clearly rated me, I had no home anymore. So I decided to hide a box behind this iceberg in the hopes that no one will see it, and maybe, just maybe, I could build a base and come back for the box. But in the middle of this process, company arrived. As I sank deeper, my wipe flashed before my eyes. Oh, it's me, dude. It's me. But wait, what was that? I don't remember that. That couldn't have been a flashback. That base, that must be what's coming. I can't give up now. Wake up, Orange. Wake up, Orange. And there I was, starting fresh. But this time was going to be different. This new world had orange written all over it. And of course, I'll run into some issues. But while I was sinking, I saw what's to come. So now, I need to get started. And so I began looting on my way to the desert biome. To my luck, I found a boat on the shore, so I used this boat to store my loot instead of having it on my body. I farmed and hunted, and then I started building. Suddenly, things were going really well. But then, I started hearing shots nearby. So I took cover in a cave. I decided to help this guy a little bit. And he seemed grateful. Have a good wipe, dude. At this point, I could tell this was going to be where I grow. The key to a successful wipe is to never give up. In part 1, I was raided far too many times. It's true, my wipes tend to start that way. But I promised that things would get better. And so, the journey continues. I just wanted to thank you all for the support. Dreamers are a different breed of solo survivors and viewers. Be sure to check out part 1 of this series if you haven't already. If you're new here, I encourage you to subscribe and say hello in the comments below. Life as a solo can be rough, but it can also be peaceful. So don't forget that rest is not all about the grind. Sometimes you just gotta slow down and take in the view. At this point, I had farmed a good amount of wood and stone, so it was time to expand. It was nice to have my base built up to the point of roof access, but as I roamed around, I could see that I wasn't alone out here. Danger is always around the corner. Having a sheet metal door instantly made me feel safer. I no longer had to worry about eco raids and Molotovs. I could actually focus on growing. Harbor was the closest monument to me that had a recycler, so I made sure to make frequent trips to the monument to recycle anything extra that I had, because right now, scrap is all I need. When it gets dark and rust, I like to just camp out in my base, do some cleanup, and some cooking. No matter how peaceful things get, in the distance, the battles continue. I wanted to make any potential raids painful for the raider, so I went ahead and sealed up my suicide bunker. Even though I didn't have the Dropbox blueprint yet, it didn't matter, because soon enough, I'd get it. I wasn't sure who the person lurking outside my base was, but what I did know was that I needed to expedite my scrap collection. And my favorite way of doing that is going underground. So I made my way back to harbor and did just that. It's not easy taking on scientists with a bow and arrow, but nobody said it was impossible. I decided not to take the tunnels all the way to Outpost, but instead to go back to the surface and drop off the loot that I had. I had collected a decent amount with such a short run. I had finally researched the Dropbox, and now I was able to move loot in and out of my suicide bunker. But it was time for another recycling run, so I headed back to Harbor. I quickly realized that I wasn't the only person here. I could hear footsteps approaching, so I took everything in the recycler and I dived into the water. I decided to swim back home and drop off everything and return with the water pipe. I saw movement by the recycler, and when he was in my line of sight, I took the shot. And just like that, my wife changed. Now I had a SAR, a real gun. I needed to research this so I could make more. I'm gonna go drop a bag off at the gas station. It was time to test my luck. I was going underground, and I was gonna take it all the way to Outpost. You might be wondering why I didn't take the SAR. Well, I didn't have the scrap to research it, and I didn't have the scrap for a tier 2, but here we are. It's time to make both of those things a reality. I was so close to Outpost when this happened. I realized that I needed to stay above ground, so I spawned at gas station and looted. That gave me enough scrap to research the SAR and a bullet. All I needed now was a tier 2 workbench. So I grabbed a sword and I headed out to farm the road. At this point in the wipe, I didn't know what was to come, but soon enough, everything would change. After farming the road, I made a recycling run. On my way over, I found this rib. I didn't think much of it at the time, but I'd be coming back for this. We're getting somewhere now. Things are finally moving. I'm gonna go ahead and just clean up, since it's gonna get dark soon anyways. I'll just take some time and organize. On this foggy day, I took a green card and a fuse box, hopped on my horse, and got the blue card from Harbor. This was the first monument that I did, but it surely wasn't the last. I need to make a trip to the snow. It's getting time to upgrade the base. In this moment, I remembered the rib that I found earlier. So I grabbed some low grade and I took it. Oh my god. The cover of the fog was perfect for a trip like this because I was planning on bringing back a lot of resources. Alright, I'm gonna head back to the boat, grab some wood while it's dark, and disappear. The night was quiet, but I was still nervous. I had so much farm on me. Any interaction, and I might lose it all. But in the back of my head, I knew that this farm was going to take my base to the next level, and I was itching for that. If you're watching this journey, then you're in it for the long haul, and you understand that I'm not a rock to an AK type of guy. I like to capture the full essence of the survival aspect of this game. So here I am, cruising through the ocean in the middle of the night, and there you are, watching, keeping me company. And with my newly collected resources, I decided it was time to honeycomb the base. I may not have much, and my horse, he'll probably die before me, but what I do have is a gun. In part 2, we got the key to guns, so say goodbye to bow and arrows. It's time to get my hands dirty. Don't forget to subscribe. Once you're a dreamer for life. Alright, let's continue the story. I just got some wood to fill my furnaces. I geared up and I headed out and made my way to the tunnels at Harbor. Now that I had a gun, I felt confident making it all the way to Outpost without any issues. As I slowly made my way down, my brain was telling me that there's no guarantee that I'll make it. But my heart, my solo heart, told me to push on.
Sleep, you
SAR on my side, I made it to Outpost with no issues. Here, I began to recycle everything that I had. Now that I had a lot of scrap at Outpost, I spawned back at base and began building my shop. This shop would be the main way I'd bring loot from Outpost back home. I spawned back at base to retrieve my loot, and while I was here, I went ahead and built out the second floor, just in case anyone was thinking about raiding anytime soon. Now that all my valuable items are safe at base, I would take that SAR and test my luck on my way back home. I began setting up the second floor. I created a little nook for my 3 furnaces. And I set up my second loot room. Doing this all in the middle of the night. While the rest world sleeps, I wipe the sweat from my brow and I keep grinding. That second tunnel run back home left me with a ton of loot. So I grabbed my horse and I made my way to the recycler at Harbor. From this vantage point, I could see everything. My finger weighed heavy on the trigger, ready to fire at any moment. With a decent amount of metal fragments, I began crafting garage doors. I started with the core, replacing each sheet metal door, and made my way outward. While out looting, I came across this special little tool. This jackhammer would help me grow this base into the solo paradise that it will soon become. But first things first, I need to upgrade the bunker into sheet metal. My base design has a suicide bunker, and with a suicide bunker, it's important to take time to pass over things that are valuable and to make sure that the TC is never hungry. Now, it was time to go do sewer branch. So I grabbed a green card and a fuse box, and I made the trip across the desert in hopes of a blue card. On my way back home from Sewer Branch, I came across this guy. Instead of continuing on my way, I stopped to gauge whether it was worth it or not. He was farming. It was worth it. Since I was trying to build up my base, his loot was a win for me. So I rushed home as quickly as possible. But on my way there, this car arrived. Maybe they were his allies. Maybe it was random. Either way, this happened. I died to this guy at Sewer Branch. And while shooting at this guy, I decide to take my horse and see if I can get a closer shot. But once I came down from the mountain, he was nowhere to be found. And while the sun was setting and the darkness was creeping in, I grabbed a hatchet and I collected some wood. I needed a new green card, so I spawned at gas station, and to my surprise, gas station was unlooted. Now that I had a new green card, it was time to head back over to Sewer Branch and secure that blue card. Things were a little different now that I had a blue card. I knew it was time to do some bigger monuments, but as most of you know, I'm not a fan of clutter. So first, I have to clean up a little bit, recycle everything that I don't need, and research everything that I can. Now that my mixing table was up and running, I decided to spawn in the grass area and pick berries. If I can get these back to base, I could farm a lot faster. Teas and rest are extremely underrated. If you don't use them yet, and you're a solo, it'll completely change the way you play. With some freshly brewed tea, I grabbed my gun and my jackhammer, hopped in my boat, and made my way back to the snow. With the caffeine kicking from the tea, the farming felt endless. Eventually, the sun began to set, so I headed back to my boat. But as I approached the area where I left it, I realized that it was gone. I had no idea what happened to it. I needed to make it back home. So I headed back home on foot, crossing the entire map, with enough farm to make anyone that kills me happy. But somehow, I made it. And when the sun came up, I took my new chainsaw and I finally was able to collect wood the best way possible. I had a lot of wood and a lot of stone. It was time to expand the base with one of my favorite additions, a large furnace base. Not just any large furnace base, one that's attached so you can access from inside of your base. Initially, I was going to make this series a 3-parter, but after analyzing my content, I realized I had far too much story to tell with only 3 episodes. So, stay tuned for part 4. As strange as it may sound, the best is yet to come. This part of the series mainly focused on progression and growth. But I think it's time to sit back and relax the real Orange Dream way. What if I told you that Rust wasn't a stressful game, especially not for a solo? Would you think I was insane? What if I told you that pain wasn't real and loss was simply in your head? Would you believe me? Well, it's true. As long as you stay asleep, the dream will last forever. Through the eyes of a solo, nothing is black and white. Everything is orange. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. And don't worry, you won't be lost in this series finale. But if you want, feel free to check out the entire journey. Because this wipe, this one I'll never forget. Now, let's continue the story. As I waited for morning, I did some organization and maintained my furnace. I prefer to handle these things while it's dark. My small desert corner of the map was fairly peaceful. It was far away from most people, and I felt free here. My interactions were low, and my few neighbors either kept to themselves or ventured deeper into the map to raid. There were only a few monuments near me, and so I took advantage of what I had. And when the morning came, I took some of my cooked meat and fed my horse. Then, the two of us went to the abandoned military base. I slowly began to realize that this monument didn't have much. But in the middle of killing scientists, I peeked over to my horse to make sure he was still there. Then I continued. That was a decent run, but it wasn't quite enough for me, so I went ahead and added more ore and wood to my furnace. I grabbed my SAR and I made my way to the tunnel at Harbor. If I'm in need for scrap, I'll usually go underground quite a bit, but this was the last one for the wipe, and I made it quick. I quickly researched what I could with the scrap I collected from that run, just in case a raid was coming soon. I collected my sulfur ore and began smelting before I had to spawn back at Outpost and get my outfit and gun. When I returned, my horse was waiting patiently for me. There was so much more in store, and I was eager to get there. Luckily, as a solo, I've got all the time in the world. I knew things would be getting intense from now on, so I went ahead and set up some lockers with some loadouts. Now that I had some loadouts ready, it was time to get to work. So I took a blue card and I headed over to the missile silo. As a solo, outnumbered by the endless groups, it's not difficult to find yourself feeling low, so low. But our breed of dreamers, we don't give in. We fight and we fight until we're no more, because that's our only option.
I say so. When I say so.
Finally, I made it to the core. I grabbed the red card and I made my exit as quickly as possible. The longer I stayed down here, the higher the chances that I'd be countered. That missile silo run completely changed the game for me. I collected so much loot, and I got away with 2 supply drops. If you're a solo out there, and you're worried about dropping a supply signal near your base, then try this strategy next time you get one. And just like that, I made it home safely with all the loot. And this loot was actually good. It was time to keep expanding. I wanted a third floor with a view. As most of you already know, I'm a big fan of improv building. And as you'll see, I do just that. I spent the day building out the third floor, and as the sun set, I watched it through my new window. Exactly what I needed after a long day of work. I grabbed a horse and I did a bit of roaming. I quickly noticed a horse next to a base of a group that lived nearby. They were fairly active. Most of the raids in the area came from them. So I decided to check it out. I decided to run on foot and see if I could find another horse. I wanted a companion for my current horse, and I found one. As a solo who's been through many raids, I needed to spread out my weapons, so I set down some more lockers and packed them up. At this point in the wipe, I was feeling very comfortable. I no longer had any worries. Even if I was to get raided now, it wouldn't matter. I felt accomplished. But if the rest gods would allow it, I wanted to do more. So I took my new horse and I made a recycle run. Little did I know that this was no ordinary run. I knew that most likely he would hide underground, so I took a moment and buried my valuables. Then, I went hunting. I immediately felt bad for this solo, so I attempted to reach out. But I got no response. While roaming around attempting to come across the player, I noticed a distant airdrop. Sometimes, if you're lucky, everyone in the area assumes the airdrop was called by someone in a compound, so no one goes for it. The airdrop was far, but I figured maybe this was one of those times. In the darkness of the night, I took the free loot. As I was quickly trying to leave the area, I heard someone raiding very close by. So instead, I went to go check it out. And that's when I met this guy. I noticed that he kept returning to the scene, and since I couldn't help the last guy, I decided I would help this guy instead. Hey bro, okay, I don't know what you have on you, but I don't know if that's a Yoka. But look, I don't need this stuff, man, so I'm just gonna give it back to you. Do you have a gun? Here,
Nothing at all.
okay,
I have a rock and a torch.
okay. I'm gonna unload this. I'm gonna give you some stuff, right? Just don't kill me, man.
I promise I won't. Thank you, dude.
I'm gonna give you your stuff back here.
Thank you, dude. Have a nice day.
Yeah, you too, man.
Nice.
Yep, see ya, bud. It felt nice helping that guy, but now it was time to head back to base and build a home for my horses. One of them is no longer with us, but luckily I brought home a replacement. The home was ready. But what's a home without food? Without food, these horses won't survive. Unfortunately, the closest river was across the map, but the trip needed to happen. So I grabbed a horse and I made the long journey. The river and all the food felt like paradise. After feeding my horse, I headed back home. As my horses ate, I went up to the third floor and began cooking food for myself. I was in a really good position right now, and with the red card, I was itching to do launch site. And so I sat there, waiting for the sun to come up, watching my food cook, cozy on my couch. I was ready. With a Tommy in my hand, I grabbed a horse and I left a cloud of dirt behind me as I raced away. had returned in one piece. As difficult as a monument-like launch site is to a solo, I was able to overcome it. And now, there was only one more thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to power up my base. I wanted to no longer live in the dark. I wanted to leave the primitive state of fire and embrace electricity. I wanted to see my base shining from outside in the night. After getting raided at the start of this wipe, rebuilding and getting raided again, I felt hopeless, but determined. The determination finally yielded results. Now, I was loaded. I had scrap, far more than I needed as a solo. I went from the bottom with nothing to my name, all the way to the top with anything I wanted at my fingertips. And just like that, the base was lit, and my heart was full. Thank you for watching. You've been watching an Orange Dream production.